Right, this is the door wood. At the moment I've just got one flat face, one square edge. These I'm going to have to do like I've done the others, put a board on. You see how much I cut off? That's just one pass. I like to make my first cut. I've taken the fence off to do them big ones. But I like to make my first cut on these rough boards quite a chunky cut. I find that if you just set it, you know, so it's just skimming a little bit off, it tends to skim a bit off, and you get out of shape. It's easier to take one big chunky cut first. If I find a bit of wood, there we go. Look. See, I'm taking a good 2 mil, maybe 3 mil off. But I can thickness all these now, and then tidy up the edges, rip them down, square them up. Right, so they're all now planed to thickness. They've still got one square edge. I planed 1/2 millimetre off here just to clean up that face that I did on there. Put it through the thickness and took 1/2 mil off. So what I'll do again now is just square that up. Now that that's a nice piece of timber, I'll put it over here again, square up that edge, rip them to width so they're all the same width, and then they'll go through the thickness of that way up, so they'll be the same thickness. And I might take 1/2 millimetre off this edge again, you know, for a final cut, just to clean up that edge that's going to go over the jointer. So that one, that's the top. And then these, I'll square up one edge, rip them to width, and then just clean up that sawn edge on the jointer. And for that final squaring cut, I'll wind this back up, so I'm not taking so much off. Give me a cleaner cut as well. So, just 1 millimetre or so. So they're all plain now. It's just sat on the top rail. That's the middle rail. Bottom rail's there. And they're not bad. So it's quite difficult for me to get these straight over that little jointer, because you're only working on this half of the bed really. It's not too bad. This is the worst one. It's got a slight bow in it, but it's not a lot. It's a few mil. And by the time I get the door made, clamped up, hinges, it should be okay. I'll stand them on the edge. See, not too bad. This one's got a bit of a bow in it. I'll turn it over. See, it's not too bad. It's almost touching there. 2 or 3 mil there. Same there. So it kicks in a bit, or this one kicks out. It could be a combination of the two. But what I'll do is I'll seesaw them like I always do for my doors. So I've got my pieces of wood. They're just balanced on here. So they're seesawing. They're not touching. And now I can look across. See which one's up, which one's down. You see those two fairly good there. That one's a little higher. That one looks like it's probably similar to that. If I look at this end, that one's high, that one's high, that one's lower than that. So what I'll do, the most important ones are the two in the middle. The two on the hinge side will be pulled to shape by the hinges that are fixed to the frame. But the inside ones, they're going to be floating, you know, nothing to hold them in shape. So what I'll do is pick two that are flush, both ends. You see that's, them two aren't bad actually. And they're not too bad at this end. A little bit out. I might not have any choice about that. So I'll juggle with them anyway, see what I can come up with. So I think that's what I've settled on. I've juggled them around. This one's very slightly up there, but not much, only a couple of mil. And they're flush at the bottom there. And these outside ones, that one's slightly high, but I've got no choice about that. And they're sort of fairly flat there. So I'll number these 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to leave these overnight, so I'll come back to them tomorrow and do it again. See if they've moved after all this cutting and planing. So I've got my inside faces marked on. I'll stand them up. So, face mark, face mark, face mark, and a face mark. Right, so I've marked out where my rails are going to go. So there's a big one at the bottom and one above it, like that. I've given it a good 50mm haunch, then I can cut back the bottom if I want to. I might put a little slope on the bottom of the wood doors. Plus the haunch stops this tenon sliding out the bottom of the door. So a good 50mm there. This one, I think I'm going to leave the full distance. You could set it back 10mm because it's quite a wide tenon. Wide tenons can sometimes shrink a bit or expand. Shrinkage is the one I'm worried about. Shrinkage means it'll come loose. And narrower the joint, the less it'll shrink. But I want maximum sort of stiffness and strength. Because on these, there's only those two at the bottom, then nothing till the top. So we've got from there right up to there. So then I'm just going to leave that at full distance. And then at the top here, I've got 100mm top rail. Got to give it a little haunch. So I'm giving it 25mm. 20mm seemed a bit small. And any bigger, you start losing your tenon. So that's what that is now. And I've got mortiser, big chunky cutter in it, but it's a bit tied up at the moment. I could move this and set it all up again, but I'm not. That's why I bought my new router. I should be able to get 70mm depth. It's got an 80mm plunge, so we'll see. I'll go 75, 70, 80, I don't know. I'm not going to go all the way through. So I'll get my router set up, get these cut, and I can get some tenons cut on those pieces. I'm just making myself a little platform. Plywood's made up of uneven layers, so quite often there's a central layer. So it's easy to find the centre. just a jig or a helpful thing, so I'm not going to glue it. Phillips screws. I've got a posy bit in it, don't matter. I'm leaving this board very fractionally proud of that because I want it to go. I want this board to be touching my wood, not that one, otherwise it'll throw it out of square. See, pre-drilling them doesn't split it. And so when I'm routing these, I don't want the machine cockling like that. I'm going to use the fence, so I won't have no choice on one side. But hopefully the fence will actually, you know, sort of stop it, help to stop it. And this, I'm going to clamp on this side. I'm going to put some timbers on the top so that it'll just sit on. Might use those timbers as my stops as well. We'll see. I got that as square as I could. According to my little square there, it's perfect. It's absolutely spot on. I had to put some braces in the back, some little wedges, just to get it right. Loads of glue. I'll wait for that glue to go off. And that's going to go on like that. I'm just using this piece of 3x2 to set it up. So I've just clamped it on there. I could have let these pieces of timber, this one underneath, extend through, then I could have clamped it. But it's no good on the end there and on the end there. It don't be any good in there, so it'd be right. But that now, you see the gap. That's because I let this one, I wanted this one behind to touch this timber. But that's pretty good now. Not there. Fuck knows. Be right. Alright, so that's about as good as I'm gonna get. I had fun getting that level. Thank goodness for duct tape. Put some behind here to push it out. I'll show you. I'll take this off. See, I just put a couple of layers across there. Whoever invented this stuff high up, they're rich. Don't like rich people, but